Hello everyone, welcome to this Options Talk 42 between Raghunath and me. As usual, I will talk about the markets, what has happened last week and what is likely and what are the levels which are crucial for next week. And Raghunath will carry forward the topic which he was talking about last week about adjustments. So coming to straight to charts, I had mentioned last week that the support over here was not something which you can ignore, and I had also mentioned that resistance near 14,800, 14,900. And as luck would have it, Nifty futures went exactly to 14,900. In fact, that was a high of 14,900, and it was a double top because just a few days before that, it had made a high of exactly the same 14,900. And then after that, of course, the rest is history because then it almost crashed in the next 2 days, all the way from 14,900 to 260 or something like that, almost 600 points, 650 points in 2 days, 3 days. So that is something which, of course, could not be uh, predicted. But then what happened here the next day when it gapped down below 14,700, that was a very clear sign that it is not going to be a higher expiry. In fact, I remember tweeting a lot of charts about various calls 14,600, 800, 15,000, where I saw a lot of buying happening. Why I say buying? Because in fact, a lot of people said, "Oh, what if it was selling?" Because it was rising, the premium was rising when the volumes were there, which means it was buying, and the open interest was falling, which is something which I had shown on the charts. Do you have any view on this, Raghunath? That heavy call buying in March, towards March end before the crash?
Sorry, this could be, I mean, pure speculation also. Okay, why there
Yeah,
are so high volumes that why people are buying so heavily, or
maybe because of that
something.
March NAV theory which was doing the round. But then I'm not sure, can retail traders buy such heavy volumes? That is the only doubt I had in mind.
I mean, retailers are also play a major role. If you look at the volumes of the options,
Hmm.
retailers are the major portion of buyers of the options, or even
Oh yes,
sellers as
that is
well.
a fact.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you never know because if we look at the positions in derivatives, the
Hmm.
NSE releases these positions in derivatives. Actually, I think on that particular day, the retailers have bought heavily on that particular
Okay.
day, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly. We can actually check on the Topstra, I believe. But
Yeah.
so you never know. I mean, maybe people believe that there might be some NAV propping up, and that's why the market will rise in March. But
uh,
the expiry is only till 25th. It's not
exactly. Yeah.
till 31st. So there is still time left in March, and they might be doing that for in the April expiry. So
In fact, that
we never
that
know.
might be a ideal scenario for the big hands to start selling when so many people are buying, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, because there is a huge rise in premium, so obviously they
Yeah.
sell at that prices. It's a nice target for the sellers.
Right. And the best part is, I remember that 15,000 call which I had tweeted. In fact, it had gone to 55, 60 twice 2 days before expiry. And below that, before that, for the previous 3 days, it was just not going below 20, 22. That was a sort of a bottom base which it had formed. And so from 20 to 55, 60 in 3 days was a good rally. And the second last day when it gapped down, it just gapped down below 20. So that is a classic trap. Of course, it did give
Yeah.
time to exit because I remember it was near 17, 18 also in the first 15 minutes, and it was tradable. So if anyone
Yeah.
was following the stop loss of 20, it was just 2 rupees below the stop loss. So it's not that it made a huge gap down. Of course, after that it went to zero naturally, but that base of 20 was broken in a gap down. That is what is more important.
Yeah, I mean there was potential of at that point of time there was potential of market going up also. So
Yeah,
why it
exactly. Yeah,
went down, who knows? I mean,
yeah. You
now there
cannot.
was
No point in looking for reasons.
yeah, exactly. So there was a possibility of going up because it's
Yeah.
almost
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so coming to this, so what has happened is after that double top at 14,900, it just went one way down from the next day. In fact, this gap is now crucial. That gap is between the high is 14,762 and the low is 14,805. So something like 762, 810 is the gap. In fact, I remember last time also I had talked about 14,810. It's crazy how same levels start appearing again and again. So above 14,810 is something which is going to be bullish. Of course, the final level remains 14,900 on futures. Now, this brings me to another point which a lot of people are debating: this crazy premium in the Nifty futures, which is almost 105, and this is there for the last. In fact, even in the decline, it was always more than around 100, 110. Any view on that you have? I don't have any
Yeah,
view.
yeah, yes. Even I tweeted about this April premium that it was like more than 100, and
Yes,
while the market is going down,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
even March was at one point of time, March was when the market was going up after 17th March. Even in the March expiry, the premium was around $50. So
Yes, right.
basically, somebody was expecting that these propping up of NAVs will
Mm,
happen, that mutual funds
yeah.
will buy the market, that there will be a possibility of market going up. But the market has crashed in the March expiry, but there is still
Mm,
potential that the market might go up in the April expiry in order
yeah.
for the NAV to prop up. So that is a reason. That is one potential reason. Nobody knows what is the real reason.
So maybe what
One of
if that is true, that if that is true, that means that after 31st March, this premium should go down, if that is the reason.
Yeah, if that is the reason, yes, it
Yeah.
should go down. That we will know, after what happens after
Yeah, from 1st
31st
April. Yeah.
March. Because otherwise there is no reason for premium to be so high. Because I
Right.
mean, I don't see any other reason for premium to be so high other
Yeah, in
than
fact,
high
this
demand.
happens very rarely, right? Hardly once or twice in a year this happens.
Yeah, yeah, very rarely.
Yeah.
Only this can happen only because of demand, nothing else.
Right. Naturally, yeah. Okay, so coming to charts, that is the chart of Nifty futures. Although it is at a premium of 100, we need to follow those levels. So that 760 to 800, 810 is the gap, and that 900, 14,900 is the double top. So if it crosses 14,900, that is going to be bullish. So we'll have to see what happens after that. Now here, this is something interesting. This is a daily chart, candlestick chart of Nifty spot. So this, although this gap has been violated again, earlier it was 469, then it was 350, now it is 264. This is something, I mean, people can argue that it has gone below the gap, yes, but then what has happened after that? Every breakdown needs a follow through, which has not come. In fact, every time it is this gap has shown support and there's big buying. And of course, this big buying has not yet been proven yet because although it is above the gap, we need to go much beyond that, like what we did over here. That was a big bullish candle, which was not the case yesterday. In fact, it was a doji kind of candle yesterday. But looking at the Nifty futures, which we discussed just now, 100-point premium. So another rise to 14,800, 14,900 is not cannot be ruled out. So what I can say is if this premium remains 100 till 31st March, maybe we can see 14,800 on the spot, which means 14,900 on the futures if this premium remains like that. Of course, after that, even on a point and figure chart of sorry on Nifty, this has given a confirmed breakdown. In fact, the setup is now bearish. It is below moving average. It has given a double bottom sell. There is a trend line here which is near 14,600. So first of all, it has to close above 14,600, 610. Then the moving average, which is at 14,790, which matches with that 14,800 level. And then this bearish column, the high, which was again 14,800. So we need a clear breakout above 14,800 on the spot to say that Nifty is out of the woods. Right now, it is just a pullback. Like I said, 14,800 on the spot or 14,900 on the futures. But breakout above 14,800, 850 on spot on a closing basis, who knows, it might go back to this trend line, which is right now near 15,150, or depending on when it is achieved, if at all. So a close above 14,800 can take it above 15,000 once again. So you have to play by levels. You cannot say it has broken down and now Nifty is bearish. A lot of people I see on Twitter also saying that now it has gone, it has made the top for the year. But why is it constantly coming up from this 14,000 to 5,300 levels? That is something which you need to keep in mind. So as long as it is above 14,200, 300, and it doesn't close below that, then it remains to be remains like a buy on dip market. Of course, it is easier said than done, but then you can use these levels and buy above once it is given a breakout. Coming to a bank nifty ratio, this has been, in fact, I had said last weekend that I don't like this chart, and in fact, bank nifty definitely fell more than nifty over the last 1 week. But now on the ratio chart, you will see an anchor column here, almost an anchor column. It is only 14 boxes, but it's a good bullish column. And now if it gives a follow through on the higher side, this might not be something which people will agree, but if this gives a follow through, that means bank nifty will start outperforming nifty on the higher side. So that is something which you'll have to keep an eye on. So maybe banking stocks might outperform the other nifty stocks. This is what the chart is telling us right now, if this gives a follow through. Coming to two charts which I have been keenly watching. This is the 14,500 monthly call of April expiry, 29th April. This has a huge bearish column all the way from 630 to 380, and it is within that. So it can go all the way to 630, but of course, right now it is only 400. So that means about 200 points on this, which translates to about at least 300 points on Nifty. So which brings us back to that 14,900 level. So it's quite interesting how all roads lead to Rome. This is a chart of the 14,500 put. This had given a bullish anchor column, but no follow through. This is something which I had explained last time. So there was no follow through here, which meant that the fall was likely to be a fall in Nifty, of course. But here there is another bullish anchor column near 190, 200. So if 190 and this high of 450, these are the two crucial levels on the 14,500 put. So there are so many levels which one can target now. The biggest one is 14,800 on spot and 14,900 on the futures. And of course, if you look at the intraday chart of Nifty futures, this has given a bullish anchor column. Of course, this bullish anchor column, you should not confuse that this is a very bullish action. This is only because what happens on charts is on the first day of expiry, Nifty 2 becomes Nifty 1. This is something which a lot of people don't understand. It's fairly simple actually. Nifty April futures becomes Nifty 1, and Nifty April futures was trading at a 100-point premium, and that was the reason there's this bullish anchor column. So that is something which you should not take it very strongly, sort of with a pinch of salt. But then there is a follow through. There is a triple top buy, not a triple top buy, but the turtle breakout, and it is bullish. So anything above Friday's high, because here you have a sort of a double, I mean, a 14,680 or 700 is a resistance. Above that, again, there is a uh, possibility of a rise to 14,900. So these are the levels which one should look out for, and definitely next week is going to be interesting, because if there is buying for that March NAV pop up, then who knows, we might see 14,800 on spot and 900 on futures once again. And of course, the any follow through buy after that will be definitely bullish. So there is no point in having a bias about that Nifty is falling and the market has gone and all that. So let's keep an open eye to both cases instead of being completely biased on one side. Yeah, that's all from my side. So over to you, Raghunath.
Okay, thank you, EP. Hello, guys. In the last episode, we talked about basics of options adjustments, and I based it on this particular booklet by Michael Catholico. And in the last episode, I discussed about this adjustment decision tree of how we will adjust a long call option depending on whether it's going up or going sideways or going down. So last week I shown the simulation where if the market is keep on going up, how we can adjust the long call, as in how to lock the profits and be in a very favorable position to extract more from this long call option by adjusting this long call option. So this week, so these were the adjustments where you shift from long call to vertical spread to fly and to a condor. How you lock your profits when the market goes up from after buying your long call position. So this time many people have asked, and I already said that we are going to do adjustments of all kinds of adjustments, like when the market goes downwards or when the market stays sideways, how these adjustments needs to be done. Okay, so this week we are going to talk about these adjustments to a long call when the market is downwards or when the long call is losing. So these are the adjustments, and I am going to show you a simulation using the real market prices. So these are the adjustments that we are going to do from long call to ratio spread to open ratio condor and a roll down of open ratio condor. So you will know what these are actually meant or mean when I do the adjustments and how you can do these adjustments. All right, so for doing these adjustments, we are going to take a this particular market situation. So we start on 12th, like here, and then we go like this and see what happens in the March. Okay, to the whole March period, what happens. All right. So let's go to the simulation and then see what happens there. All right. So we are doing this simulation with 25th March expiry, and we are starting this on 12th of February. Okay, so we'll go here 12th, and then as usual we will do on 3:20 p.m. close to market closing time. So now we buy a long call option. Okay, so it's 115, 169. So we buy at 15,200 call at the money, close to at the money. If we buy one long call option, and then we'll do adjustment based on how the market goes. Okay, now we are sitting on a profit. Okay, so at this point of time, the profit, I mean, if you look at the max loss is 30,000. So relative to the max loss, this is not much. So ideally, you do the adjustment when you're in profit when it's substantial, not like 6,000, but maybe like 10,000, 15,000, something like that. So right now it's not much, so we will not do any adjustment for this to lock the profit. Okay. So now the market went back to 15,200. Okay, we are not seeing a big loss here. So it's almost like break even. So we will not do any adjustment. All right. Okay, now on 18th February, we are seeing some loss. So at this point of time, you have to do some adjustment here, right? You don't want to lose more from at this point of time. So now remember that here the max loss when we initiated this position is around minus 31,000. Okay, so now we make an adjustment so that our profit zone moves close to our this position, current market position, right? So if you look here, this is the payoff currently, and max loss is minus 31,000. Okay, so now the adjustment that we talked here is to make a ratio spread. Okay, so when we do the ratio spread, we move our position, our profit zone position closer to our spot price or the future price. So the ratio, so which strike price to choose to do the ratio, right? So now when we bought this call option, the premium that we paid is around 400 rupees. So if you don't want any more loss on this particular strategy, you can do a ratio which covers that premium, right? 400 means, so we have to sell those call options which matches that particular price. So let's say I can sell 2 lots of 15,500 call. Okay. So at this point of time, will be no downside risk. Okay. But what will happen is that your downside risk is taken off, but you'll have more upside risk. What if suddenly market goes up, right? So suddenly if it went up 300 points to 15,400, you'll be sitting on minus 9,000 loss, correct? So you want some breathing room on the upside. So even if suddenly the market moves up, you'll not lose so much. Okay. So in order to give some breathing room, we, you know, we go slightly out of the money, even above 15,500. So maybe we can go to 15,700. So here the price is 146. So roughly around 300 rupees, right? If you sell 2 of these, we are getting premium around roughly around 290, right? So our loss will be anywhere around 120 rupees. So around 9,000 to 10,000. So now we sell 2 of these. So now see, as I said, our loss is around 9,000. So our risk, we have changed from, on the downside, the risk is changed from minus 30,000 to minus 9,000. And since we are shorting to 15,700 calls, we have some breathing room here. Okay. So even if suddenly it goes to 15,400, we may not lose that much, maybe not minus 9,000 or something like that, maybe around 6,000 or something like that. Okay. So obviously when we have started with a long call position, you might have some kind of stop loss in mind, right? So usually my principle is that if you're targeting a 50% of max loss as your target for the profit, then that should be the stop loss as well. Okay. So but here it's only 9,000 on the downside. So for me this is fine. We can just leave it and see if the market goes up here, and then take profit when the market goes up here. That is one option. And see, one more thing I already said is that our profit zone has moved from here to here. Okay, that is the advantage of doing this adjustment. One, our risk has reduced on the downside. Two, our profit zone has moved from here to here. Okay, all right. So now we will see how the market will go on. Okay, so now it has gone down another 100 points. So at this point of time, we can do another adjustment, or we cannot leave. We can leave as it is. but it's already 100 points, so we will do one adjustment and see what happens. So here the adjustment is from ratio spread to open ratio condor. Okay, so it's pretty similar. It's sounds like a ratio spread, but it is in a condor configuration. Okay, so I will show how it looks. So here what we will do is that we will sell to 15,200 calls. Okay, when we sell to 15,200 calls, the net position becomes minus 15,200 call. Okay, so I will show you how it looks. So we will buy, sorry, we will sell to 15,200 calls. Okay, sorry, sell. So here we sold to 15,200 calls, right? So we are receiving premium for selling the 15,200 call. Now here we have two 15,700 calls sold position, right? So instead of two, we have to have only one 15,700 call sold position. So we have to cover one 15,700 short position. So in order to cover this, we have to buy one 15,700 call. Okay. So we go and buy 15,700 call. Okay. And then we buy 100 points down or a strike below 15,000. So 14,900 is a strike below 15,000. So we buy that strike. Okay. So now it looks like this. Okay. So now this is a condor ratio. So why this is a condor ratio? Because so in the ratio spread, we have two 15,700 call sold positions. But in this condor ratio, we have two sold calls, but there are different strikes. One is at 15,700 and one is at 15,200. So we have two strikes sold call positions and one bought call position which is 14,900. So it is still in ratio configuration, right? Two sold call and one bought call. So that is why it's called a ratio condor, because the configuration is in a condor configuration. Okay, a ratio condor. This is called open ratio condor, this position. So now what we have achieved from this is that we moved our profit zone even closer to spot price, much more closer to the spot price. And at the same time, we have reduced our risk even further down from minus 9,000 to minus 8,000. Okay. So that is the idea behind making this adjustment, is to bring our profit zone closer to the current market position. Okay. Now we will see what will happen. So here you can see the PNL here. Okay, we will see. So not much change has happened here. So we will keep on going. Okay, sorry. Actually, if you see here, on 22nd February, actually there's a big down move. Though the PNL didn't change a lot, because I think most likely because increase in IV, the PNL didn't change a lot, but the market has moved a lot from 15,000 to 14,656, around 350 points. So at this point of time, we can do another adjustment. So the adjustment is very simple here. Okay. So here we have, sorry. So here we have this condor position, right? So what we are going to do is that we are going to move this close to like this, something like this. Okay. Of course, this line will be slightly below, but this is what we are going to do. We are going to roll over this 15,200 call and 14,900 call. We roll it down further down to close to our market price. Okay. But we maintain the same open condor ratio position. So how we are going to do that? So now first we have to cover our 15,200 call. Okay. So we buy 15,200 call. Okay. So now when we buy that, it becomes a normal vertical spread. Now we are going to sell 14,900 call. Remember that we had this 14,900 call as a long position, right? Now we are going to make into a one short position here. So in order to make into one short 14,900 short position, we have to sell two calls of them because we already have one long call position. So it will become one net minus 14,900 call position. Okay. And now we have to have a long call position, right? So below 14,656 is 14,600 call. So we will buy 14,600 call. Okay. So we'll have same that open condor position again, but again we have moved our profit zone much more closer to current market position, right? So now because of this adjustment, our risk went up slightly from minus 8,000 to minus 11,000. But that is fine, right? It's we are very close, not too far away. But our profit zone has moved much more closer. Okay, let's see what happens now. So now we have moved into our profit zone, but still we are our loss is still the same. So we'll keep carrying on because we are still in our profit zone. Again, there was a big down move. See, at this point of time, we are, we are getting close to break even. So we were actually in a losing position, and we are actually getting now in our profit zone. Now the choice is up to you whether you want to cover at this point of time, close this position at this point of time. You're still in profit zone, so that's fine. We can wait till we are seeing some profit. So at this point of time, we are at break-even level. So remember that when you started your long call position, you are under an assumption that market is going to go up, but that has not fructified, right? That has not happened, and actually market went down, and it has been down for a long time. So at this point of time, you can assume that your assumption has went wrong. So there is no harm in exiting this position and then at later point of time take another position when you have a clarity that what is going to happen in the market. Maybe the market is going to go down even further, right? So you can take a fresh position by exiting this position at this point of time, okay? Because you have not lost anything here. You are at break-even level. So there is a no point in going further with this position because your assumption has failed already, right? But let's see what happens if if you're still greedy and you want to have some profit because you're still in profit zone. Okay, we are in 2000 plus 2000. Okay. So let's see what happens. So you're still in profit. There is no harm in taking this profit, right? You are at minus 5000 or something like that. Now you are in at plus 5000. So there was plus 3000. So there you had a chance to exit. But if you didn't exit at that point of time, you are still greedy. Then what will happen? This is what will happen. So again, it gave a chance again, right? So you got chance to exit many times. Okay. So you could have exited it at any point of time, right? But if you are still greedy, then that's a problem. And this is what happens. So then you have to book the whole loss because you are greedy. So the idea behind the adjustment is that you have defended your long call option, which was going in loss. You have reduced your risk. It was at minus 30,000 in the beginning when you had long call position. So let's imagine that you had a minus 15,000 as your stop loss. Okay. So, but by changing it to a ratio spread on this downside, you have changed your risk from minus 30,000 to minus 9,000. And then we made another adjustment when it market went down even further. At that point of time, our risk reduced even further to minus 8,000, right? From minus 9,000 to minus 8,000. And our profit zone moved closer to our market position. But market went even further down. So you made even one more adjustment, right? At that point of time, again, you moved your position much more closer to market, but our risk increased to minus 11,000, right? But you had chance to exit from this position, several chances, not one, not two, but at least 5 to 6 times you had the chance to exit this position because when you took your long position, your assumption was bullish and that assumption went wrong and went wrong multiple times during the course of this adjustment. So you had the chance to exit multiple times, but even then if you didn't exit because you're greedy and you wanted to extract everything from your this position, then you would end up with something like this, right? So you should not wait till the last moment. So and this is something, if you the listen to many of these option trading talks, this is a theme which I keep talking about, that don't wait till last week of expiry. Just exit in the last week of expiry because you will have gamma effect in the last week of expiry. So before the last week of expiry, if you have exited, you would have still exited at break even. Okay. So these are the takeaways from this position of this adjustment. When you have a long call, if it goes down, you make a ratio spread so that you move profit zone closer to the market position. And then if it further when goes down, then you make a open ratio condor. And if it goes further down, then you roll down your open ratio condor closer to the market position. And after that, if the market gives you a chance to exit, just exit at break even, because your assumption has already went wrong. Okay, so don't wait till you're in a even more losing position. So if it gives a chance of profit or even at break even, just exit at that point of time. So that is how you defend your long call position. So next week, what we will do is we will cover two different kinds of neutral positions. Neutral in the sense that when the market is sideways, like it goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, how we are going to adjust our long call position and still stay profitable, or at least break even. Okay, that is all from me, AP.
Yeah, I think this was brilliant because last time there were a lot of comments on the video as well as on email also and on Twitter about
Yeah,
how do I just loss making positions. I mean, when the trade goes against you. So I think this will be a very good lesson in that for all those people. Yeah, it was very good.
yeah, yeah. Usually, these we are in a such the kind of market that we are in. We are seeing 300, 400, 200 points move, which is not a likely position all the time. I mean, after some
Yeah,
time, the VIX will go down below 20, and you may not see this kind of moves after the VIX goes below 20. So it will be much
right.
more calmer. The markets will be much more calmer, and you will have much more easier positions to manage or to adjust than what we are seeing here. These are extreme conditions, what we are seeing now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Another thing
that's it.
which I always think about is see, let's go back to the days when Nifty was 10,000. So a 1% move was 100 points. Now at
Yes,
15,000, a 1% move is 150 points. So that is
exactly.
that is something which is always going to be there when Nifty. It is similar to Bank Nifty. I mean, if you just equate it to Bank Nifty, Bank Nifty 200, 300 points is nothing. I mean, it can happen in 5 minutes every day. In
Yeah,
fact, it happens
exactly.
almost every day.
Every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has to change. Right now we are in such a position because our VIX is above 20. So as long
yeah,
as it's above 20, you will see this kind of moves. So it has to calm
right.
down. It has to come to. So if you look at the VIX chart, the average is around 16. So when it comes to that average, that's when
Hmm.
you will see, this kind of adjustments will have much more impact when the
Right.
VIX is around that average ratio, at that average level, around
Average what?
16 or
16,
something like
16.
that. Yes, 16.
Okay. Hmm. Okay, fine. I
Yeah.
hope everyone has enjoyed it, and whoever is into these kind of trades will definitely benefit. And in case you have any questions, you can always ask us on Twitter, tag Raghunath also, or of course on the comment section of the YouTube video. Thank you and bye bye.
Bye.